Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Asian Garage, and today we're gonna be painting our calipers with the G2 paint set. So the set comes with brake cleaner. I mean, of course you should have some more than this just to make sure your calipers are clean, a cute little brush, activator, and a mixing stick. So let's get to it. Okay, so now we got all the wheels out. You want to arrange them so that you know these are the fronts, these are the rears, and you got all your bolts in place somewhere. And then, of course, you want to make sure you have at least some way to get rid of all the old paint. Or even if you don't, you do want to do this to get rid of any contaminants. Brake cleaner alone is not going to cut it because all the brake dust that's been there for years. Well, not years, maybe months, but you know. So I have this, which is kind of like a Dremel kit. And I have a whole bag of these, which come in two different types. They come in the flat type here. And these, I think they were like, what, $10 a set or something online? I can't remember. But yeah, so have something. If you want to do it manually, by all means, go use your sandpaper or what. But I think this is going to be the most efficient way. You want to make sure you got your mask on because there's going to be brake dust, well, paint flying everywhere. And then make sure you have extension wires so you don't get caught up. Make sure you got enough movement. So let's start doing this and see if it comes off. Okay, so after like 15 seconds, that's all I could get off. So yeah, it's going to be a painstakingly slow process, but all we need is just the outer part, which faces, you know, well, which you can see from the outside, and that's really all that matters right now. So I'm just going to do all of this one by one, and we're going to do all four wheels. Oh my gosh, it's going to take me hours, but we'll fast forward that part, yeah? So you go in here and you push out this way. Comes out again in here and out this way. Yep. Okay, we've done most of the first part. There's still a little bit of gunk here that I'm gonna have to clean off. I think it's like stuck inside all the pores of the metal. So this is the front and on the right side, and this is the rear on the right side. So pretty much okay, just that the rear has some rust on it and a lot of brake dust. I'm gonna clean that up as well. What I found to be really helpful is to use brake cleaner or even acetone to spray on while you're doing the wire brushing. That really helps to agitate the paint and get it off. Now, if you already have a clean caliper, you know, like you don't have any paint on it, well, still be sure to use the wire brush to clean off all the brake dust that's stuck in the pores. So after about, say, 2-3 hours of brushing, brake clean all the way, this is finally, well, more or less clean. And I've also removed these to clean it, and now I put them back. So if you don't know how to put them back, take a look at my videos where I changed the brakes, the front brakes. So the rears are a little bit dirtier just because, you know, these are cast iron. I think the front are like aluminum or something. I can't remember. But I cannot get rid of all this rust. But it's okay because the paint that we got is a D2M or direct metal paint. So it should, you know, cover up the rust and should be okay. But otherwise, everything looks pretty clean. I'm just gonna go inspect. It's so tight here. Here as well, it looks pretty okay. There is some like marks, but those are from like the wire brush. But otherwise, everything looks pretty good. And if we go to the last one here, this one looks pretty good as well. I'm going to, so after you're done with all the cleaning, the wire brushing, make sure you go another round of brake clean and use a rag to clean it up. Make sure that you don't have any more, you know, like dust residue left on. Make sure you wipe every surface because you don't want, you know, to have bubbles or anything flaking off. Okay, so now that the prep is done, I'm gonna have my dinner and then we'll probably tackle this tomorrow when we have some more time. Well, before we start painting, you want to prepare all your equipment. You want to have your paint here, and you see I forgot that. This is the hardening agent. So the reactor, I'm going to have it all here. It would be good if you have like a piece of cardboard. I have it, but it's all the way down. I'm going to bring it over here. And we want to have something to put your brushes and even the mixing stick. So I've got it all cleaned out. I still do want to, just go through one last spray of, brake clean just to wipe it down a little bit. And so the paint here, it says that it takes about 2 hours to cure and 24 hours to fully harden. So it's good that my wife is out of town. I can use a car to get around for the next day or so. But what I think is important here is that after the first coat, they say that it will bubble up. So don't worry about it, leave it alone. Just go through all the 4 wheels. And by the time that's done, you come back, it's going to be about 15-20 minutes. Then you can put on the second coat. Okay, so this is the first coat, and you see the inside where you can't reach it. That's where you want to use the small paintbrush to reach into. Okay, so first run, pretty good. There's still some touching up left to do inside there, as you can see. So that's where the small paintbrush is going to be used for. So we're going to do all the calipers, and then we're going to come back and put on the second coat. Now that we've gone through all 4 calipers, we're going to do touch-up, and that touch-up you want to try and use the smaller brush unless you're doing it for large areas where you want to use the foam brush. The foam brush really helps to get a larger area. Basically, you can get a larger one, but for this caliper, the size that I have works totally fine. Okay, so now we've gone through all 4, and then now what you want to do is get a light. Just shine on the calipers from the outside, make sure it looks good. And it's here where you can really see where the runs are, where you missed. And it seems like we missed a spot here, so we're going to touch up on that, as well as the small corner here inside there. So we're going to touch up on that. So just go around using a light to make sure you've seen it with a bright light, just so you know you haven't missed anything. Okay, so went all around with the light bulb, just shining brightly just to check, and it looks pretty good. The self-leveling properties aren't perfect, but then again, this is a brush. Ooh, I see one more spot. Okay, let's touch it up there. Okay, I mean, since you're here, right? So one tip is to never touch the paint with the brush that's dry. You want to make sure that your brush is always wet to some extent. Otherwise, you're going to leave a lot of strokes around the paint because it's still drying up. So your brush must always be somewhat wet so that it doesn't scar the paint. Okay, so I think we've done a pretty good job. Now this is going to sit for 24 hours, they said. At least 2 hours before the paint dries. And I see some drips there, so you want to pick up the drips as well. It's at the bottom, so it's not a big deal. Okay, squeezing through here. Okay. Yeah. Yep, looks pretty good. And of course, with the wheels over it, you probably can't see all the defects that you usually would if you saw it bare. So I painted a little bit further back just because when you're looking from the outside, you can still see a little bit of the back even with the wheels on like that, right? I mean, in a perfect world, you want to remove them, get them ceramic coated, but I guess this is fine as it is. I do see a spot at the back there, but I don't want to reach there. One other thing is that you want to start painting from the top to the bottom so that if anything drips, it's going to drip downwards. And that you don't waste the paint, basically. So I painted all 4, about 2.5 coats with touch-up, and we still have quite a fair bit of paint left. I'm going to go one more round with touch-ups, and then we're going to wait 24 hours. I'm going to put the wheels back on, put her down, and then I'll just show you one more time walk around how the car looks with the paint all settled and all. Okay, the car's down, the paint is dried. It's been 12 hours. I'm just gonna let it sit here for a bit. And it really does look good. I mean, it's like a 3-foot rule. You stand 3 feet away, it looks good. It kind of passes. I mean, up close, it's not the most perfect thing, but from this angle, it looks really good. Okay, guys, so I mean, for those of you who want to paint your calipers, it's really a simple job. Just remove your wheels and do the brushing ones. But if you want to remove the whole caliper, remember you're going to have to bleed your brakes all over again. That can be a pain unless you find a way to, you know, plug it. They do sell plugs for the brake hoses. You can plug them in and then you can remove the caliper, so you don't need to bleed them as much. But you know, it's a painful process. You want to remove the calipers, send them to be, you know, ceramic coated. But in any case, this is how it looks like. Really good for the $70 that I spent. I would say it's pretty worth it. Okay, so I hope this video helps. If it did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see what we can do next time. Bye, guys.